Hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Goes Insane. Today I want to talk about the characters that I've put Relic 8, and some of them Relic 9 on, and why I wanted to do that. My best reasons for it, because I've gotten a lot of questions about my roster lately about, why did you put Relic 9 on Malgus, for instance? Why did you put Relic 8 on, Cassian, etc.? And some of them are going to be like real obvious, like, well, I wouldn't normally want to, but the game kind of made me, it's a requirement, etc. Some of them have better explanations, and I thought that it would be a good, maybe a good insight for people who are looking to make their roster stronger. At some point I want to do a video on like different squads you should work on to get to, all of them at Relic 5, all of them at Relic 6, 7, 8, whatever for territory battles, and Datacrons in PvEP. However, I want to talk about this on my roster first, just so that people can understand where I'm coming from. We'll probably do it for Relic 7 as well. I just want to give you guys kind of a key of like, honestly, this is probably more of a guide for which characters you should work on than anything. So, without further ado, folks, I would really appreciate it if you'd help me mount the algorithm. Hit that like, subscribe, comment, all those things to help mount the algorithm, guys. It's a good time and stuff with things, and there's convincing words that I could say, but instead, let's go to the whoa, we're in the game madness. We're in the game. This is crazy. How did we get in the game, actually? Guys? Okay. So we've got Jabba. He's Relic 8, Relic 9, whatever, because he's thick. He's tough to kill. Remember, the thing I want to point out, guys, I'm not going to show you on any other characters or on any other Galactic Legends, because they all of the Galactic Legends have this one shared ability, Galactic Legend, and in it, the unit has plus 10% max health and max protection per Relic Amplifier level. Relic Amplifier level is fancy talk for Relic level. And the damage they receive, whatever. So that doesn't scale. So he's just tough to kill. He has a kit that makes it so that he can't even be targeted. He's like Mon Mothma. He can't be targeted until everyone else is dead. Mon Mothma can be targeted, but she dies of sadness instead. And even though Jabba doesn't look happy, guys. I mean, I don't know how many people who are this size are truly, truly happy. I mean, Crumb is like, yeah, I'm just glad I'm not that size. So Rey is another Galactic Legend. She really benefits from two stats, folks, from health and offense. And so her Relic levels give her that, all the way up to 9. It's wonderful. 8, though. 8, in my opinion, is the goal for every Galactic Legend, for any account. If you work hard enough to get a Galactic Legend, get them to 8, and then maybe put them to 9. I think the argument for 9 for her has a few different things. First off, she just wants so much health and offense. Very, very worthwhile to get that extra boost. Because she's such a focal point for the team, you just want her to be as tough as possible. The other thing is, she scales really well with Relic levels. I showed it on my video yesterday as well, but she gains 7% more damage, and this is for massive damage, so it's a lot of damage anyways, per Relic Amplifier level. So she scales well with the game as it progresses. Kylo Ren, the reason I have him at 9, folks, is I approach it a little differently. A lot of people really try to get their Kylo super crazy fast, and I think it made more sense when it was just like trying to do the mirror match and whoever goes first wins. But now, I never use him in a place that it matters what speed he is. Remember, mine is like not that fast. There are people who are 50 or even more speed faster than mine. The thing to keep in mind is it takes a long time to lap a character who is this speed and you're only 50 speed faster. Like, it's gonna take like 11 turns, and by then the match is over. Like, then you're not gonna have 11 turns versus 11 turns. Yeah, like the match is gonna be finalized by then. Instead, he really benefits from having a lot of health and a lot of a lot of offense, and then also his crit damage is also higher for his relic level. So very, very worthwhile to get him to 8 or to even 9. Jedi Master Luke, in my opinion, he's the one character you want at relic 9 as a pseudo requirement, folks, because of his leadership. He's the guy who says everyone else can borrow his protection amount, and that protection amount does damage. It's all their damage that they do is based off of that. So like Hermit Yoda can use it and actually take people out. Same with Barriss, who hits like a wet noodle. And the thing about Jedi Master Luke is because he's a tank, he gains a crazy amount, a crazy boost up to from 8 to 9. So very, very worthwhile to get to 9. Even though he's not like actually required at 9, in my opinion, he's the one who really should be. Lord Vader, I've never subscribed to some kind of scribed. I'm not much of a scribe, folks. I've never ascribed the moniker Lord Failure to him. Honestly, guys, if you wanna buy into that, I guess that's your own call. But the thing is, he is really tough to kill, and now that Datacrons have been entered the game, he's become one of the toughest characters to kill ever. People want to call him Lord Failure because they think it's cool. It makes him sound powerful, but the truth is, he is really, really, really tough to kill if you mod him well. A lot of people call him Lord Failure, or also people who put him at Relic 7 and then leave him to rot. It's a travesty to see him at Relic 7, at least, and people are like, oh, he never holds. I'm like, well, no duh, because you have him weak at 7. Get him up to 9, and you can taste true power. So just get him fast and protection, and he is a thick boy. He's tough to kill. You have to get the rest of his team to be strong as well. So very much worthwhile character, in my opinion. But you really do need to invest in him if you want to. But the thing is, you've already put that much effort into getting him. He is a crazy hard character to get. I don't get why you put the effort into 8 or to 4 relic 8s, and then you put him to relic 7. I see that all the time on my alt. It is just bonkers to me. It blows my mind. And these are the people who are shouting, Lord Failure, he's Lord Failure. I'm like, okay, well, thank you for that. That contributes nothing to anything. So we have Backpack Emperor. He just wants to be super thick. At relic 8 or 9, he gains enough health to do that. You just want all the thickness, and you want all of the armor. I mean, he's a galactic legend. That's almost enough said. But he lives because people can't kill him. Shocker, right? He lives because of that, and because he's got his backpack. He's ready for an adventure. Jedi Master Kenobes is only relic 8 for me. He's the only galactic legend I have at 8 because he's not a crazy resilient character. You want him to be someone people can't just pick off just casually. But like the savior doesn't apply to him. So if you make him weak enough, people will just like focus him down and kill him first. It's kind of sad when it happens, but it can actually for real happen. And so you really want Kenobi to be thick enough for that. But the thing is, I've always thought it would be cool to try to get him to just load him up with offense, actually. I want to try that. I don't know if it's going to be great, so don't take my word for it here. But I want to try that. The thing is, if you try it and you put him at Relic 9, you don't get much of a boost in offense. Look at this. So just going from 8 to 9, for the crazy amount it costs to go from 8 to 9, it is just really expensive. You get like less than 300 offense. It's not very good. Like, how much offense does he have total? He has 10,000 offense. He's getting 300 for that level. Like, it's just not worth getting him up from 8 to 9. And he doesn't get that much tankier either, nor does he need to be that much tankier. General Skywalker wants to be 8 or 9 because he wants a bunch of different stats, all of which, besides potency, are found in relic levels. He wants to be tanky. Here's the thing about him, guys. You want him to have protection, as much protection as you can, as much armor as you can, so that he's thick. And so, he also has health. The health doesn't matter as nearly as much. In fact, it kind of hurts you in some ways because a lot of the counters against him are going to be % health ones. But protection, he gains on that last level, so that's why it's worth it. That, plus his armor, are things that you really want to have from him. The damage is great, but the thing is, he's the only character really who, like, he just heals his protection over the course of 5 to 10 turns, character turns. And so he's able to, like, every time so he stands up, someone has to get all the way through that huge health or that huge protection bar that's really tough to get through with armor, especially with the advent of Datacrons, guys. He can be bolstered in some crazy, just disgusting ways. I currently have him with 100% extra armor and 50% extra protection, and that's for his whole squad, but for him especially, it is really good. His damage is good, but the biggest thing is he's just like this tank who regenerates himself and protects his team forever. He's very, very worthwhile to get to 8 or to 9 just for those reasons. Luke, I got Luke up to 9 because territory battles. My guild wants to, so, we're starting to work on phase 5 platoons, and Luke is one of them. And so, like, one character is worth, what, like 10 waves, something crazy like that, and platoons. And so very worthwhile to do that if you're in a place in the game where you can do that and your guild is actually organized enough to do it and everything. The thing you really want to look at, though, guys, so 9 is okay, but 8 I didn't complain about either. He was 7 all the way up till that requirement a little bit ago. I think is my most recent Relic 9, actually. But the thing is, I didn't complain about Relic 9 on him at all because he has all of his crazy stat sharing. Remember, Chupio grabs his stats, he gets 40% of all of Commander Luke's stats, and then 20% of the stats that Commander Luke has go out to everyone, and that includes health, protection, offense, all the different things. And so the extra stats are great. 9, he's not a tank, so he's not going to get that much of a boost, but I mean, 8 was an amazing boost for him. He does a lot more damage from 7 to 8, and everyone else gains a lot from that. And then, the boost from 8 to 9, it was like, well, I'll help my guild, I guess. Maul is one that really wants a lot of relic levels, guys. 8 or 9. I mean, he's probably going to be someone who wants 10 as quickly as possible as well, just because he has a bunch of different sources of damage. You remember how General Grievous only uses health as a basis for damage. With Maul, he uses health and offense both. So you want him modded for offense. Sometimes, depending on where you're at, sometimes you want to put him with protection instead. But then the health is really nice because of his anguish stat, and you guys will have to read it, but his damage is also boosted by how much anguish he has, which is based off of his health. So really good. His relic levels all increase. He gets a double whammy. He gets a 2 for every time he increases his health. He gains extra damage. Same with protection if he's with Lord Vader, and then of course his offense stat. So he gets the 2 for every time, folks. It's very, very worthwhile on Maul for sure. There's some cool gun noises, right, guys? Okay, so Bossk is one I kind of regret, actually. I don't want him. Yes, he's a tank. Yes, he's ultra tanky and tough to kill. You can kill him. I've seen videos that are like, you can't kill him. I'm like, you're facing bad opponents. But I mean, in reality, I don't know if you are actually I don't mean to mock. The thing is, he still dies at Relic 9 if you're facing a good opponent. Like, I got him there originally because I was using bounty hunters to counter Lord Vader, and Maul was starting to kill he'd just be able to murder your Bossk right away, and you didn't want that, and so you get him to Relic 9, and you guys can go, well, you want him to be fast, so you can't use a protection arrow. So I mean, I have mine at 6, 160k, whatever, and then whatever else he gets for being the lead and stuff, but like, well, I guess he's not really the lead, but yeah, you want a lot of extra protection on him as well. And the problem is, he still gets killed by modded Rexes. Well, Rex probably kills him too, but Maul still kills him. So yes, it's great for his ship though. Like, get him up to Relic 8. Wonderful, really good choice. 9, I kind of regret that. I think I would, if they gave me the option, I would redistribute that to someone else. Darth Vader is someone I got to 8 because he was countering what's her name for a long time. Ray. He was my Ray counter. You kind of want him at 8 though, and you want him to have 6 E mods. This actually screwed me earlier last week, because at Relic 8 he's faster than any negotiator as long as you have the 6 E mods on him. His ship is faster than negotiator. If not, then they can just focus him down before he gets a turn. And so you really do want him to be Relic 8 for that reason. Like negotiator, a lot of people get GK up to Relic 9 just to have that advantage, and you can negate it just by putting Relic 8 on your Vader. Admiral Piet. He's one that, I mean, I don't know if it's really necessary anymore. I don't know, like, it used to be a big deterrent to put 9 on him because people didn't know how to mirror match if your ship was faster than them. And so 9 would, like, guarantee that people wouldn't come and mirror match you. Now that there's Profundity out, I don't know that 9 is absolutely necessary. There's nothing he really super outspeeds with it. His ship doesn't do a lot of damage on its own, and it doesn't take damage, so I don't really know. It doesn't really seem like he's necessary at 9. Of course, he's necessary at 8 because he's a requirement character for who? Is it for Vader? And I've never really had cause to regret. He actually does quite a bit of damage guiding the trooper team. I don't regret the 9, really, just because of how much service it has done for me in the past. I don't think it's absolutely necessary anymore. Radis is one that I think you should probably just... I mean, you have to put him at 9, so just do it. Put 6 ES so that he's the fastest, and move on because he's a requirement. That's it. He's not worth it otherwise. If you're not getting Profundity, don't get him to 9. Darth Malgus is one because he's a tank, guys. The tank boost from 8 to 9 is insane, and he's already an insane tank. He does a lot of stuff. He's also personally crazy, I think. Actually, I don't know. He also may or may not have a chin. We don't know. I've said that a lot of times, and it's made people mad, so I've said it a few other times now, just to continue that tradition. He just wants... The thing is, he gets such a crazy boost. Here, let's look at it. So he gets all this health. I mean, so the big boost from 8 to 9 is the huge boost to protection, but all that health is really nice. The damage is okay, but his big hit, the one that does all the crazy damage, I think it's this one, it does damage equal to 40% of his max health, and so you want him to have a ton of health. Lots of health, and you achieve that by putting high relics on him. Getting him to 7, getting him from 7 to 8 is really, really strong. From 8 to 9, also really strong because he is just so hard to remove. And remember that whenever it resets, guys, and I don't remember where it is, but maybe it's his lead. One way or another, let's see, if he has his Omicron, at the start of battle, Darth Malgus recovers 100% health and protection. So, if you get him down to a sliver of red health, and then you're like, okay, I'll just finish him off with something weak, then you'll jump in, and he'll have full health and protection again. And so, you just make him super crazy tanky, guys. Lots of health, lots and lots of health. And I mean, a little protection is also not bad. But his speed is probably something atrocious that you guys should judge me for, but please don't. I will think more kindly of you for not having done that. Now, Chrysanthemum's one. He's just super tanky, guys. He is crazy tanky, and he matches well with his Jabba friend. If you get him up to 8 or 9, you especially want to get him his Omicron. That just gives him, so the minus potency is really nice because you don't want debuffs to happen to you, especially like Inquisition really struggle to, if they struggle to apply debuffs, they're going to struggle to be able to beat you. So minus potency is really nice, but then the extra protection that you get from the Omicron is really nice, and then of course you get all that extra protection boost because he is a tank. So he just becomes way tankier at 9. So the double whammy of 9 and 9 on him and Jabba will time a lot of people out. Hondo, I got him up to 8, and you'll see this a lot, guys. A lot of my characters are based off of, well, off of an opportunity for extra damage. The boost from 7 to 8 is just really nice for almost all these characters. Yes, he's just a support, so he doesn't get as much of a damage boost, but he gets more survivability, more armor, and those are all things that Hondo really wants. Yes, he boosts himself quite a bit, but initially you don't want him to take himself out that much, and he also increases his total threshold for total damage and defense and everything because he's stacking based off of his max. Jedi Knight Luke, the thing is, they actually, when they nerfed him, they brought him down to 7, and for a long time I was using him at 7 instead. I got him up to 8 initially, and then they reduced him to 7. I was like, alright, 7's enough. But then it wasn't, especially for the people I was fighting with, and so I got him up to 8 again, and it made an enormous difference. He's not a weak character, guys. He doesn't hit as hard as he used to, but he still does hit really hard, and keep in mind that whenever he's hitting tanks, he does extra damage. He does just an extra stack of damage. So also deal true damage to them. So it does just like a second stack of damage to tanks, and a lot of times he's facing teams with tanks. He also dispels on basic, so he just does a lot of really cool stuff. He's always on teams that can call him to assist, and that's also going to really help because if you're just constantly calling him to assist, it's going to really help if he actually can do damage while he's assisting, right, folks? He also is fairly tanky. General Grievous, I put him up to 8 because not only does his ship actually get a little faster, that doesn't really matter, but the Vulture droids actually hit a little bit harder. All of their stats are improved based off of General Grievous's stats. The other thing is, folks, I rely on him for a lot of different counters, including like taking out Starkiller, taking out Commander Luke, lots of different things, and all of his stats are health based. So if I got him up to 9. I mean, it would be a nice little boost. 6,000 extra health. Yeah, that's nice. Remember, his damage isn't increased because it's all based off of his health instead. But his ship is going to be improved, and then his total health is going to be improved by relic levels. So I use him for so much. He's very worthwhile. Look at all that speed. I don't mean to brag. I mean, I am bragging, but 154 extra speed on a pure health set, not too bad. Bando is one that really benefits because his ship is one of the most important in the game because it's one of the most meta awesome ships in the game, and he's able to also, I know that a lot of people also, it's pretty cool to tell us that Bando is not good, he sucks, he's whatever, but in the right circumstances, guys, the thing is, his swift takedown with all of his whistling birds and everything, once you boost his offense enough, it gets to be just insane damage, and it's 20 instances of whatever the total product is. It's really nice. Plus, he's got a lot of ways to boost his offense through using like Kuiil on his team, or even you can put Cat on the team in certain weird circumstances. He is very worthwhile to 8 because his ship really wants to hit hard and survive longer, and he wants to hit hard and survive longer. Very, very worthwhile Relic 8 on him. Chrysantin has already been discussed. It's disgusting how much we've talked about him, in fact. Okay, Chewbacca's 1. Honestly, so 6 is all you're going to be required to do for like Jedi Master Luke, I think. I got him up to 8 because he, I mean, I want him to be a little tankier, but I want his ship because Profundity is doing so well. I mean, it's the top ship right now, and the tankiness level of the Falcon is really, really, really helpful for getting holds in fleets. Like I wouldn't mind taking him and Han up to Relic 9 just to hang out with Luke, in fact, if I could do that. Grandmaster Yoda, the only reason he's there, folks, and he's one of those that you don't really regret that much because he kind of hits hard, but really his whole thing is taking a lot of turns. He hits kind of hard sometimes, but the biggest thing is he's Relic 8 because he's a requirement character. I wouldn't recommend doing it until you're ready. Sure, you want him to Relic 5 or something before that, but I don't think you need him to 8. Besides that, Wampa, he ramps damage, but it's nice to have a really nice baseline of health because the thing is, you're going to be putting as much health as you can on him, but you also need to make sure you out-tenacity your opponent and their potency because, yes, he gains 100% extra tenacity from his kit, and then he also gains extra tenacity for every hit, but if he gets stunned initially by someone like Iden, it can spell certain doom for our hairy friend. Kylo Ren Unmasked is great at 8. Honestly, at 9 would be wonderful for him. Look at all these stats you would gain from it, guys. And he is so hard to kill because of all of his different levels of healing himself. Look at his leadership and then look at his unique and see how much health he gains and how much protection he gains every time something happens to him at all. Like, you breathe on him and he heals himself. Really, really cool. Just a really fun character in general, but then his ship is also something that hits really hard. I would love to get him up to 9. 9. I just don't know in what world I can actually justify doing that for a while. His ship hits like a truck. He doesn't hit like a truck, but he heals like a truck. Trucks heal, right? 5s is a double whammy as well. He's really good in ships. His ship hits really hard. It takes a beating. It's really fast, so you want him to stay fast. But then also, you really want to boost his protection, if you can, and his defense. So, let's see, how much armor does he have? Yeah, so he gets a bunch of armor from all of his defense sets. But then, every time you boost him, guys, he's a tank. And so, I mean, I wouldn't mind having him up to 9 as well. But, again, how do I justify that? If you guys want to fund me, please do. Or, you know, at least help me mount the algorithm, right? Alright, Padme is a requirement character. You don't really need her at 8. Get her up to 5 and call it good, because she wants to go with Kenobi until then. But, you know, and you want to be able to put datacrons on her, all that stuff. However, I mean, if you can't, if that's not a thing that you can do, then I guess I understand. 8 is a requirement for what? For Lord Vader, so don't do it until then. She's not worth it to 8, in my opinion. Yeah, she gets a lot of health. She gets more tanky and stuff, but I really don't think she needs it. Darth Malak is one. I mean, he's a tank. He would also love. I mean, every time I show you guys this, I mean, it's the same huge crazy boost to tanks. But I mean, he just really benefits from it because he is. At one point, I remember I had him at 7, and I fought someone who had a relic 9 Malak, and I was just like, man, his Malak is so obnoxiously tough to kill. It's so tough to kill. And I mean, I'm not lying. I'm not hiding from it. I do spend money on this account, of course, and you know, to have as many relics as I have and as much stuff. But I think I went and bought packs until I got him up to relic 8 because I was like, man, I want this experience for my opponents. I want them to be miserable like I was. And he doesn't have a chin, and he's still that tough to kill. Star Killer is a guy who really benefits from a lot of stats, and I think Relic 8 is amazing for him because he's an attacker. Remember, going up from 7 to 8 is like the boost to attackers. Going up from 8 to 9 is the boost for tanks. So 9, you won't find me putting 9 on many characters that aren't tanks or Galactic Legends because they don't gain much from it. Like maybe from 9 to 10 it'll be a nice boost, but that'll be a while still. The thing is, he assists so much with his Sith friend. He assists. Wow, that almost works, guys. I just sound like a slither tongue here or something. But yeah, he does so much damage, guys. And the more relics you give him, the more health he gets. And the more health he gets, the more his ultimate does. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind getting him up to 9 just for that extra health, because that boosts his ultimate. But his ultimate, it's pretty decent, but it's not something you really want to mod him for. You want to mod him for offense, and that's where the Relic 8 comes in. Boba is just a requirement character. I mean, I don't regret he's at 8, because he's a useful fellow. However, you can see I don't even have 60 mods on him. His ship is nice, but it doesn't always come in. His reinforcements, so and it's not really that. It's not going to be made that much more resilient by a few extra 6E. I mean, I would love to get his square up to there. I think maybe his square is just unworthy right now or something. I think I had to steal. Yeah, this is an okay one, I guess. But, I mean, really, it's just some extra speed. So, I can do without it for now. He's a requirement character. And he's a ship in one of the best fleets in the game. I don't regret it, and at the same time, my guess is that I would have him at Relic 5 to Relic 7 at this point. Though I think that at one point, there was this trend, it was like all the big guilds were getting him up to 8 because of this crazy bounty hunter comp that no one uses anymore, because of his crazy damage. And then it was like, oh, well, now he's a requirement character anyways at 8, and then you just stopped hearing about it because they weren't cool anymore. Kitty Mundi, guys, he hits like a truck. It's like the truck of the god of trucks. He is so crazy damage, guys. Really good stuff. He stores all that extra power in his awkward, like sloppy top knot thing. Is it really? I don't know what the hell that's called. But all that extra, like, you know how camels like store fat in their hump? Like, he stores extra attacking damage in his hump. Like, he just does a crazy amount, and it's because of Relic 8. He is amazing if you mod him to hit really hard. Look at this, guys. I have him I have him. Oh, I have a speed. Oh, yeah, that's right. I have a speed arrow on him because he needs to be really fast for the comp that I have. But then I also found really good speed or offense secondary. So probably worthwhile to do that for a little extra speed. I think he's at. Yes, he's at 304. He's actually at 384 after he gets a leadership bonus of plus 30 and his Ki-Adi-Mundi Zeta and his stance boost. So really, really fast fellow there, which is what she said. Alright, Dash is fleet. Like, I would love to get him to 9 just for the fleet, because it does extra damage. He also does extra damage at 9, and he's tougher to kill. 8 is probably where you want him, though, just because, like, as far as efficiency goes, he does a lot of damage, and, you know, the boost from 7 to 8 is really nice for that, and his ship really does benefit from it. Fennec Shand, all she does is damage. She just destroys people. She ruins people's lives. I mean, that's kind of the thing she's decided to do for a living. You wouldn't be able to tell that she has metal tubes instead of intestines just by looking at her. You also wouldn't be able to tell that she's like 60-something, like the actress. It's kind of crazy how that works, guys. But she does so much damage, and the whole reason you have Fennec on your team is so that she destroys people. She does so much damage. So all the damage, 7 to 8, makes all the sense. General Kenobi, he's requirement at 8. He's probably worthwhile to do it just because of his fleet anyways, but I think I had him at 8 before they made him a requirement character at 8 anyways, but yeah, so keep him at 6 E-mods because of his ship. I don't think it's worth it to do at 9 unless you're crazy on ships and you're watching this and you have more relics than me. Dooku especially is not worthwhile at 8 until he's a requirement character. Sith Trooper, I got to 8 because of the First Order TIE Pilot Omi, because I was trying to counter Star Killer in 3v3. That still kind of works. It's not a consistent thing, but that it's especially consistent if you can get him to really high relics to do all that extra damage, and then you also want him to be at a pretty decent speed. How much do I have him? Yeah, I have a plus 137 set on him, so he's not like the crazy fastest, but yeah, it's almost not worth. I don't know if it's worth it, frankly, guys. Like, yeah, here's the awesome thing about him, though, too, is he assists on every shot if he's on the right team. So if he's with Sith, if he's with First Order, he shoots every time they do, what, a special? Just a basic? I don't remember. We can probably look at his unique and it'll tell us. But yeah, whenever they score a critical hit or stun, then he's called to assist, and it's not like, and it does like 30% of his damage normally. Like every time he's just one of those guys who is to, you know, like V1 hits really hard every time, not really hard, but it just does a lot of pervasive damage, and if he's modded well, you can really put a dent in people. It's really nice. It's not pleasant, but it's nice. Savage is one that here's the thing, he's an attacker, but he's a tank, right? Because of his Omicron. And the reason you want him to 8 is just so that he is more resilient. You want to get that extra armor for him, that extra health and protection just to keep him really tanky. Especially the armor is really nice. I mean, I don't know what the boost from 7 to 8 on his armor is. I don't pretend that that's like, oh yeah, his armor's great, but you know, like putting defense set on him is really, really nice, and he's just able to tank more and more as things go along. His mastery is health as well, and protection, it looks like, or that's just general. One way or another, guys, it's not like he hits that hard, really. He's just really tanky, and you probably don't need him at 8. I was just excited about his Omicron, and I had the mats for it, and so I just went for it, and I don't regret it. He's really tanky. Just put him on the right team. He gets ults for me all the time, guys. He really is just an obnoxious piece of work. He's just a tool, man. He's such a douche. So Jedi Knight Anakin, I got him from 7 to 8 because of his ship. His ship hits really hard, but then also he hits really hard on the Qui-Gon Jinn team with Ki-Adi-Mundi boosting him. He's just he's a damage dealer who does a lot of stuff, and the ship makes a lot of difference because he's an attacker on the ship, because that does a lot of damage, and it doesn't miss ever, at least on his basic. So that's really nice. It also, I don't know how many times he's been in the red, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if it had been Relic 7, he would have died. So 60 mods on him for sure, and then he's part of that Qui-Gon Jinn team with Ki-Adi-Mundi. He hits like a truck, and or a damn truck, or a truck's king, or you know, whatever a dictator of trucks would be, whatever. a truck full of dicks, whatever. He just does a lot of damage. Dark Trooper, guys, if ever you wanted a guy who did a lot of damage, I mean, he's the guy who's like, the whole team's like, please do a lot of damage, please do a lot of damage, please do a lot of damage, and then he does a lot, and everyone's like, yay, or he doesn't, and you're like, oh, well, we're screwed now. So it's all about damage for him, all about damage. That's why going from 8 to 9 is a little bit appealing, just because any amount of boosted damage is nice, but I think you probably benefit more from really focusing on his mods, especially on his diamond and his circle, really trying to get those offense secondaries up as high as you can. You see, mine could be boosted a little bit, of course, but yeah, I could really get some boost out of that, but I mean, calibration. Anyways, if you want to get him more offense, yeah, Relic 9 is fine, but go to from 7 to 8, noticeable, like plus 800 or more extra damage, especially after mods. Very, very noticeable. Han is required at Relic 8 now for Jabba, but it's not regrettable at all. I think I had him at 8 before Jabba, in fact. Not to mention, I was telling you about Chewie and how he was a requirement, or how he's only a Relic 6 requirement, but I got him to 8 because of his fleet, because of profundity, and because of the fun you can have there. And so, at 8, he's really great. He's one of my... he's at 8, he's great. Your opponents will have a lousy fate. They'll fall and sprain their ankle in the grate. Oh, that's not, that doesn't rhyme with great because it's the same word. Dear Lord, we're rhyming tonight, folks. Help me out with this. So, yeah, he does a lot of damage, and the jump from 7 to 8, legitimately, once you get his modding, even if it's crit damage modding, it's plus 1,000 offense from 7 to 8. Very, very noticeable and worthwhile to go there, guys. He's one of the hardest hitters in the game. One of the Datacrons out there right now is just so crazy with him because he hits so hard with it. It's really fun. Royal Guard, man. I see this all the time. People take they get their level Lord Vader up to Relic 9. Or even to 8, and then the Royal Guard, they're like, he's fine at 5. It is exponential. Every time you boost your Royal Guard from 5 to 6 to 7 to 8, it is a noticeable change. Huge, huge boost, guys. Just makes him better. I would love to get him to 9 at some point, folks. Young Lando, okay, for a while he was like the fastest Lando in the game and the hardest hitting Lando in the, like he does a lot of damage. He does a lot of good stuff. But here's the thing. Yes, you can do a lot of cool stuff with him, especially in 3v3 with dash. The problem is, right now I'm just using YOLO because he ramps his damage, and in some of the fights that Dash is going to be fighting in, especially with Vandor, because he can keep him alive, I don't use Lando because Lando just doesn't do as much damage as young Han over time. So yes, he's one of the hardest secondary hits in the game. This hit right here, guys, is I think the second hardest modifier of damage, which we'd have to go into that at some point. I've made a video about it in the past about how hard Landino hits and why. You guys can search for that, but he's kind of worth it for that. Just the spectacle of him doing like 200,000 damage in one hit. But sometimes you don't need that, and sometimes if you can't crit, it's not really worth it. Anyways, his ship is surprisingly, I mean, it's really nice to have it. Like, I have L3 at Relic 6, and he's at Relic 8. You can do a lot. I don't know if this isn't one I would recommend, guys. This is a luxury one, for sure. You don't even need a Zeta. It's crazy. I have Relic 8 on him, but no Zeta. Should probably just do that for his ship, frankly. That'll boost his ship. Cassian, I had him at Relic 5 before the requirements for Profundity. I'd leave him at 5. He's not worth it to 8 unless you're going for Profundity. I don't necessarily regret it because his ship is better, but you can see he doesn't have all 6 emods on him anyways. Arc Trooper is also requirement at 8. Probably worth it just because he assists so much, or he hits so hard, and all of that boost is from his offense. The arc damage is based entirely off of the arc turret's damage is based entirely off of the damage, his offense stat, and so very worthwhile to put Arc at Relic 8, I guess. I never, you don't use them in threes. Oh, I don't use them in threes. I know a lot of other people probably do. You know, the nice thing is he actually shares his offense with other people in a way, because he hands that turret's use to someone else so that him and Echo or him and Rex or him and Fives, whoever, can also, both of them can get use of that blaster turret, and both of them are based off of his total offense ability. So, you know, and he hits back, and then his turret hits back. But there's a lot of cool stuff about him. I doubt that I'd have him at 8 unless he was a requirement, though he's not one that I really mind at 8. For the most part, other than Dooku, I don't really mind any of my 8s. I think, is that it? Okay. Alright, let me show you guys the ones that I want to get to 8 as quick as I can. Grand Inquisitor and all of the Inquisition are going to need 8 anyways for the Reva mission in Phase 4 at some point. So he's the guy who does the most damage on the team. Probably worthwhile to get him to 8. BB-8 is just here to see if Sarah is watching this, but I would not recommend BB-8 to Relic 8 at any point. Aphra, absolutely Relic 8, not only for the territory battle, but because she hits decently hard, and I mean, she's a character she's like a legendary character who does a lot of damage anyways. I mean, like, her potency is probably more important. You want to really be focusing on her modding for that and everything. But, yeah, she does a lot of damage. She's not the main damage dealer. I just want her at 8. She's also doesn't have a tank on her team, so you want her protected as much as possible. The boost from 7 to 8 is what? You get a pretty nice boost to her armor, actually, guys. And then, you know, she gets extra health. That's nice. And, you know, some resist, all that stuff. It's her crit avoid. Oh, that crit avoid is kind of nice too, guys. So, you know, based on off of her base stats and her kit, an extra relic level really, really helps. Not to mention, like I said, Rise of the Empire territory battle. Also very, very worth it for that. Ben Solo, I just recently remodded him so that he hits like a truck with offense. You want him, you know, Relic 8 is nice. Relic 9 is even nice, just because Rey can't die until he dies. So make him thick, or make him hit hard, whatever. Relic 7, the boost from 7 to 8 is probably pretty nice. Yeah, look at that. It's 500, something like that for him. Pretty nice. Is he just a support? No, he's an attacker. Okay. He's a Lasufu. So, I can't believe I don't have Cat at Relic 8. She does a lot of damage, and she also gets really tanky. You want her to have a ton of health, and that health boost would be nice, because she also boosts her offense and her own health by 50% just on her own. And it's very worthwhile, guys. Getting her from 7 to 8, amazing. I can't believe I haven't done it yet. At some point, I'm just going to pull the trigger on it, but I just haven't so far. She ramps damage, like, everything. I mean, the armor boost, everything, man. She is so worth Relic 8. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. Everyone makes fun of me, and yet I still don't do it. Hold on, I have a couple more. Alright, we got Mace here. Mace wants all the stats. He wants offense, he wants potency, he wants armor and health and protection, and he wants all of it, guys. Every single thing. And the boost from 7 to 8 is nice. I would love to get him up to 9, actually, just because his protection and health would go through the roof. You guys have seen the tank stats that you get for going from 7 to 8. He also does good damage. He just does a lot of good stuff, guys. His crit avoid, look at that crit avoid that he would have if we got him up to all the way up to 9. I can't believe I haven't got him up to even just to 8 though, because I've been singing his praises. Like, in some ways he's my favorite character, and yet the reason that he's only a 7 is he functions so well at 7. It's been like, man, I haven't had any catastrophic incidents where I've needed him at 8, but man, him and Cat would be such nice boosts to 8, honestly, guys. Boushh is another one. It's like, well, you have this really thick Chrysanthemum, really thick Jabba, and then I have a Gamorrean guard on the team as well, and Boushh is the main damage dealer on the team. She is constantly going, constantly. I could say that like 70 more times if I wanted to, because she fills up she takes away all the turn meter, well, all of the clock, I should say, and that is like every time she goes, she's using her offense, guys. She's using that offense number, and that boost to go from 7 to 8 is really nice. I mean, it's not crazy, but it is really nice, especially when you add the offense mods. And it's you know, it also makes her harder to kill. Like, I've already invested Relic 9 on Chrysanthemum and on Jabba. Absolutely worth 8. I'm guessing she'll go to 8 before Cat does, honestly, just because that team needs to be as thick as I can make it. Iden Versio, I'd love to get her to 8 just because she hits like a truck at 7, and she would hit like some other kind of, she'd hit like a truck-sized car. Otherwise, since we keep overusing that metaphor, but she does a lot of damage, guys. She does so much damage, and she hits 3 times. It is pretty gross. Going from 7 to 8, very, very worthwhile because she's one of the hardest hitting attackers in the game. Now, Snips is one that I would like just for a ship because it hits really hard. Plus, I use her all the time, on offense, like. It would just be nice also for ROTE to be able to have a squad of Ahsoka, or with Ahsoka joining them because of all of her assists and stuff, all of her dispel on basic. Very, very handy character to have. Gideon is one that I want to 8 because I use him so much with Lord Vader, and Lord Vader really benefits from all of his guys having really high mastery because he gains the mastery that his teammates have whenever he pops his ult. And so popping the ult is really nice in order to get Lord Vader more stats. And I think I have one other one, guys. Ah, yes, Sith Empire Trooper. He's a really funny one to put with Malgus, actually, guys, especially if people use Sith Eternal to kill him. They usually link the attacker that goes with Malgus and Malgus. They kill those two, and then Sith Eternal doesn't have enough damage to kill your Sith Empire Trooper over time because he's so thick and because of the kit from the leadership of Malgus. He actually heals more protection than Sith Eternal can do, and they'll time out on just Sith Empire Trooper. It's happened to me. I couldn't believe it. Going from 7 to 8, that little boost of his armor is really great. You guys can read his kit. You know, he gets a ton of extra armor. He also, you know, he gets extra protection from 7 to 8. I would love to get him to 8. I'd love to get him to 9. You guys have seen the awesome tank boosts. You can't do everything, guys, and he's one that's kind of fallen by the wayside. 7 is still fine, but I think 8 is very worthwhile, and I think that is it, folks. So yeah, gosh, 2 long videos in a row. I just, you know, thank you for your patience. I hope that I provided some good insights and just some planning for you guys to, you know, on things to work on. I guess one thing I should add too, folks, is I wanted Aphra to be at 8. I also want her 2 droids there. Like, her whole team needs to be at 8, including IG-88. not only because he has 88 in his name, but because he is Grady Great. No, you know that I'm tired if I'm making that joke. But yeah, IG-88 also as a fleet character is really good at 8 or 9, just because. So Aphra, very, very worthwhile at you know, and our team at Relic 8. I just need to get her there. So guys, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for your patience on this crazy long video. I hope that this helped strategize for you a little bit, provide some insights. Let me know if you have questions. I might answer them, maybe not. Come hang out with me on my Discord. You can also ask me questions on the plan if you want. That's a channel on my Discord server. You can go on to the plan and ask me questions. I'll answer it on my weekly show sometimes. And one way or another, guys, thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xaereth wishes he had just basically taken his entire roster to Relic 8. Let me know if you would be interested in one where I talked about why characters are Relic 7 as well, and when I justified them. So, alright guys, I'll talk to you later. Goodbye and good riddance. I don't know if riddance it can be good or not, to be honest, guys. I know the riddens are good because they're after a storm in Stormlight Archive, but I've talked long enough. Have a good one, guys.